back for another Talk About It Tuesday, and I'm really excited. I got a really great set of questions here today. Keep the questions coming. This is the best way that I can serve you. So I'm going to jump right into it. I'm going to read it for you. The first part of the question is, how can college students start a business while in college? And the second question is, what steps should an unemployed person take when starting a business? Great questions. The first question, what steps should a college student take if they want to start a business? I think we have to think about what the objective is. And because we're talking about kids, what is the objective? Is the objective to make money one time? Is the objective to make a sustainable income on a small scale just to supplement a little extra money while you're in college? Or is it something they want to start while they're in college and they actually want to scale it up to a full-time thing because they want that to be their full source of income as opposed to getting a job when they leave college? Totally different objectives, totally different way to go about it. But let's just start with this. I don't think we should wait until your child is in college to really talk about entrepreneurship. I certainly didn't. I started talking to my children about entrepreneurship when they were very young. I started as an entrepreneur when I was very young. I always had some kind of hustle, something going on the side. And I think it's important to teach children that there are multiple ways to create income and you're not limited to, the traditional go to school, get an education, and get a job model. You don't have to be a full-time entrepreneur. You can be a part-time entrepreneur, or you can just make money for one time. And there are lots of ways to do that as well. So I'm going to start with a story about my daughter. When my daughter was 10 years old, again, I told you I started them off young. I started teaching them about entrepreneurship younger than that. But when she was 10 years old, she had a brilliant idea. And she came to me because when she was 10, she went through this transitional stage where she felt she outgrew a lot of her toys and stuffed animals and, a whole bunch of stuff that she had in her room. And okay, I admit I spoiled my kids. They had way too much stuff anyway. However, she came to me. She said she had an idea. She wanted to sell her stuff to other children. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I've never really thought about other children buying stuff from other children on a scale like that. But she was smart. So step one is always coming up with a product that matches the demographic you want to serve. So that's interesting. She saw herself and saw her peers as a demographic that wanted what she had. And she felt they were willing to pay for it. That's important. That's a good understanding of business. Matching a product with a demographic that has some expendable money that's willing to pay for what you're offering. So she told me she had this idea, but she wanted to do a one-day sale. And I was like, okay, I'm thinking yard sale, but no, she had a better idea because she figured she can get more children, to see her stuff if she did it the day we had the block party. Because here in New York, every, block, not every block, but a lot of blocks have block parties in the summer where not only the kids on the block come out, but kids from other blocks come out and, the street is closed off and they get to ride up and down the street. So her idea was to set up a table during the block party and have all of her toys and things that she wanted to sell on display and have them sold. And I said, wow, that's a good idea. So I said, but, why would children bring money to a block party when normally things are sold at a block party? So I said, well, you're going to have to advertise. And she said, okay, well, can you help me make a flyer that I can put around, hang up around, and I'm going to make some posters. So she got some paper and crayons and made posters that said she was going to have this sale on the block party. And, I copied the flyers for her. She gave out these flyers and hung up flyers all over that she's going to have this toy sale, gave them out to all the kids that she's going to have these toys for sale. And, I thought that was brilliant. But she took it one step further because she understood entrepreneurship in a way that was very sophisticated for a 10-year-old. She realized that if she stood at that table all day, she wouldn't get to enjoy the block party. So there's a big difference between being a business owner and self-employed. A self-employed person does all the work, right? So what she did was she found a boy on the block, a little bit older than her, who had the googly eyes for her, who she hired on a commission basis to stand at that table all day long while she rode her bike and played and did whatever she wanted to do all day. And he stood at that table selling her stuff. And it was incentivized because it was commission based. And so he sold most of the stuff. She got a wad of money. She paid him, his commission. And, that was her introduction into entrepreneurship, which was interesting because she used that same model. Fast forward another 10 years, when she was 20 years old, I moved her from one part of the house to another part of the house. And so she was redecorating her room and realized she had accumulated a lot of stuff, again, that she didn't want. And this time she was able to use apps. So like I think like Let Go and these other apps. And she posted her stuff online and was able to sell stuff, again, that she didn't want. And she really didn't have to do much work. So she took pictures of it, posted it on the app, and was able to make money. I think that's a quick and easy way to make money as a one-time thing. Most of us have some things that we can let go, and it doesn't take much to take a snapshot with it of your phone and be able to post it and sell. So it's a one-time thing. That's an easy way for a young person or unemployed person to make some money, right? So it's just a new twist on the garage sale. My youngest son, who has a really great entrepreneur mind. He's in college right now, but he started his entrepreneurial ventures probably early in high school. And one of the things that he would do was he realized that he went to a large high school. There was over 5,000 students in the school, and schools aren't allowed to sell candy, right? So he realized there's this need for candy, or want, I should say, not a need. There's this big want for candy. So he would ask me to go to BJ's and get the cases of candy wholesale. So what he did, he kind of surveyed the students. What do they want? M&Ms. They all wanted M&Ms. They wanted different types of candy bars and Skittles and whatever. And he had me buy cases of them for him wholesale. Now he's smart because he asked me to actually front the money. Again, that's another business principle that I teach, OPM, other people's money. I fronted the money for him and he paid me back. And I told him if he didn't pay me back the first time, I would never front the money again. So he's smart. He borrowed the money from me, had me buy the candy. I went and got it. He filled all of his orders, sold the stuff, was able to pay me back like he said he would, which, that's a sign of good faith. So every time I would get the candy, he'd say, hey, can you do that again? I would always front the money, and he would service the debt by the income that was created. So he started doing that. That was his real introduction, probably when he was about 15 years old. He started doing that. And he made a ton of money, selling candy. But then he realized as he got a little older that there was a different type of want, So there's this big thing about these exclusive sneakers, and he's a sneakerhead. And that's the reason originally that he got into selling things, because he wanted to make all this money to buy these super fancy sneakers that I was not going to pay for. I said I spoiled them, but I'm not crazy, right? So he wanted sneakers that were rare, sneakers that were highly desirable, and the only way he knew to get them was that way. So as he did that, he understood the value of these sneakers and the desire amongst his peers. So what he would do, he would buy the sneakers from the money that he made selling candy. He would wear the sneakers, and I kid you not, he would sell them after he wore the sneakers and got tired of them, and he would sell them for more than what he paid for them. Now, blew my mind. I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why kids would buy used sneakers for more than what they were worth. But he had this whole system. He figured it out. He knew the most desirable sneakers, how rare they were. He knew that you had to get some kind of tickets or something ahead of time to get people online to get the sneakers. So he would pay kids to get the tickets, to get online and wait for the sneakers, get the sneakers, wear the sneakers and enjoy them, and then sell them for a profit. That's entrepreneurship. That's something a kid can do. But there are a ton of things that kids can do, college kids can do, because you have to understand that there are lots of wants that college kids have, especially when they're away, right? So they don't have access to certain things. So there are different services, different wants, different desires. And it's really about, again, matching your demographic with the product and making sure they have the ability to pay for it and that they know that you have it, right? Because that's critically important. So let's fast forward. Let's say it's an unemployed person. Again, it goes back to objective. What is the objective? Is the objective to say, I'm going to be a full-time entrepreneur and I don't want a job? Is it to carry you until you get a job? Is it to make a lump sum to pay off a debt? You have to have an objective, because Having an objective will determine how you start the business, because are you going to start the business again as a one-time thing, as a one-person operation, or is this thing scalable to a point where it can be a full-time operation where you're the business owner and other people actually do the work for you? And so that's really important to understand. The best thing that an unemployed person has in their favor is time, right? Because you're not locked into getting ready to go to work every day, going to work every day, coming home from work every day. So you have a big block of time that other people don't have. So if people work 8 hours and they travel for an hour each way, you have a good 10 hours of extra time that other people don't have. And it's different even trying to find a job today. I know I've been out of the job market for a long time, but way back when I graduated college in the 80s, and I had to find a job, I had to look in the back of the newspaper for classified ads, and I had to call and I had to go into an interview, and that was time consuming going through the newspaper every day. Um, Today, I know you do submit, things online and things like that, or whatever the case. I know it's a whole lot simpler now than it used to be, so it's not as time consuming. So that again, that means you have a lot of time on your hands. Time to do what? To research, time to test, and things a lot less expensive now. So the barriers to entry are lower than they've ever been. The cost to entry is a lot lower than it's ever been. Getting data and testing what people want is a lot less expensive today. As a matter of fact, most of that stuff is free, right? You can use social media and just join different groups and find out what people's wants are. You can get feedback instantaneously for free with social media and find out what people are willing to pay for, how much they're willing to pay for, what their needs are. You can do surveys on Facebook. You can do SurveyMonkey. There's so many different ways to get feedback and information from people that will tell you exactly what it is that they want, how they want it delivered, the price point they're willing to pay, having a hand in actually designing the product or service that you're going to offer. So it's hard to lose when you get that type of data and you pay attention to it. It's easy to create something. Now, making it scalable, sometimes that takes a little bit more skill, because most of us are used to being a do-it-yourself type of person. And if you're really going to be successful in business, you have to understand that it takes a lot of collaboration and teamwork. You have to have a vision and be able to transmit that vision and sell that vision to other people and explain it in a way that makes sense so that they can put the pieces together for you, so that you can make the money that you desire. So, I know that's, kind of vague because I don't want to get into the intricacies of business because that'll take a lot longer than we have. But hopefully that gave you an understanding that there are, again, different types of business models for young people and unemployed people. Is it a one-time thing? Is it something I can do, by myself on a short term? Is it something scalable? Is it a long-term thing? And that will dictate, again, how you start it. But it all boils down to matching a demographic with a product or service they want, not need, a product or service they want, and that they've demonstrated a willingness to pay for that, and really paying attention to the feedback that you get so that you can, really tailor it specifically to what they say they want, and not only say they want, but are willing to pay for at a price that makes sense for you to stay in business. So keep the questions coming, and I will see you guys next Tuesday.